most men now have a phobia of women. Guys, today's video comes from the China Unvarnished channel. Their channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check them out and support them. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of so many men now having a phobia of women and how that will affect us all going forward into the future. We'll jump right into the video just after
43-year-old high-quality leftover woman B.
你认为中国男人配得上中国女人吗？
配不上。
嘿，您矜持一下再说成吗？
这个是国际定论好吗？不是我一个人的观点呢。
Just because she is naturally beautiful and stunning, she believes that men today are not worthy of her. She even openly stated during a blind date that her requirements are too low, which has spoiled men.
我认为现在这个相亲市场上的男生，目前来说很多都是在不停的提要求，可能是我们惯坏他们了吧。
The girl's name is Lulu, 43 years old, from Shanghai, and she graduated from Fudan University. She is currently working in a real estate company as a saleswoman. Despite her high looks and high education, Lulu has not found a partner yet because she believes that her excellence makes the men around her feel inferior.
有一些男生会跟我说，他说你看上去挺拽的，我好怕跟你讲话，所以我觉得这是我的错吧。
But as she gets older, Lulu has begun to realize the importance of marriage. However, when she wants to find a wealthy second-generation man who has a house, a car, and an annual income of at least 1 million yuan, she finds that such men are not interested in her. Lulu still cannot understand why. Despite being the school belle who was adored by everyone during her university days, she can't find the right man now, even though she still looks like an 18-year-old girl with a good figure and appearance. In order to help Lulu gain clarity about her inner world, the show arranged a sand tray psychological analysis for her. She was asked to build a simple inner model on the sand tray so that the mentor could help analyze the emotional issues she is facing. From the model Lulu built, the emotional mentor quickly realized that despite Lulu's brave and beautiful exterior, her inner world is that of a fragile little princess who desperately longs for love. The show quickly arranged Lulu's first blind date. Mr. Gong, 38 years old, is the owner of an advertising company. When they first met, the atmosphere was relatively harmonious, and Mr. Gong, as the man, took the initiative to start a conversation.
我可以问一下你是哪里毕业的吗？
你吧。
哦，复旦毕业的。一般复旦很多女生都是蛮骄傲的，有没有这样的传闻听说？
有啊。
那你怎么看？
Lulu believes that because she graduated from a prestigious university like Fudan, she naturally has the capital to be proud. But she still very modestly claimed that she got into Fudan University entirely due to her innate talent. However, this highly talented student appeared somewhat ridiculous when facing the seasoned businessman, Mr. Gong. Mr. Gong then inquired about her current job, which touched a sore spot for Lulu. Although she has outstanding learning abilities, her work performance was somewhat disappointing. Seeing Lulu becoming nervous, Mr. Gong took the opportunity to continue the conversation.
讲到外形哦，你对你自己的外形满意吗？
Lulu believes that her appearance is absolutely that of a stunning beauty, and most men are not worthy of her. Upon hearing this, Mr. Gong's dissatisfaction with Lulu grew, and the blind date ended in failure. In a later interview, Mr. Gong directly expressed that it is exactly this kind of arrogance that is the main problem for leftover women. She really has no capital to be arrogant.
坦白说，这样的女生蛮多的，没有什么可以值得骄傲的，上不上下不下，然后又端着，会比较辛苦一点的。
But Lulu doesn't believe she has any problem. Reluctantly, the mentor decided to let Lulu rate her performance during the blind date. Lulu gave herself a score of 99 out of 100 for her looks and attractiveness to men.
what we are witnessing, guys, is extraordinary narcissism from women in Western society and Westernized societies. This is why so many men are now phobic of even going on a date. 90% of men have completely opted out of dating, relationships, and marriage. And it's only going to get worse. I talked about this. I was one of the only people to talk about this Okay, and I've been preaching it for years that we're going to see the great V collapse. Women took the V, they dipped it in gold, they put it on a pedestal, and they said, "Worship me." God let these individuals reach to the highest mountains so that they could fall from the highest peaks. And when they finally reach the ground once again, they're not going to like it down there. Let me tell you something about falling, about going downhill. I experienced this myself years ago. I discovered that there's always a new rock bottom. People go, "Oh, you've hit rock bottom," or "I hope this person has hit rock bottom." Don't You really should not wish rock bottom onto people. I'll tell you why. Because there's always a new rock bottom. You know, you can go from having to sleep on someone's couch. "Oh gosh, this is rock bottom for me." No, oh, there's worse than that. To sleeping in your car. "Oh, this is rock bottom for me." Oh, to sleeping in a shelter. "Oh, this is rock bottom for me." Oh, to sleeping in the street. "Oh, this is rock bottom for me." Okay, to sleeping in the woods. "Oh, this is rock bottom for me." To now ending up incarcerated and now you're in prison. "Oh, this is rock bottom for me." Oh, to being not only incarcerated, but now you're put in this shoe and you're there indefinitely. Okay. "Oh, now this is rock bottom for me." And you'd be amazed how much further you can just keep on going and going and going. You have no idea. Some of you do, but many don't know just how painful life can be and the amount of suffering that there is in life. These women, what's amazing is that a lot of them have lived such easy lives because of the state and because they've been subsidized by men for so long that they don't know true hardship. And all of those privileges that they enjoy, many of them are going to begin to vanish in the coming years. And they're going to find themselves faced with extraordinary amounts of destitution, living in extraordinary amounts of poverty and destitution. And because they live in delusion, they're only going to wrap themselves up into further delusion. It was frightening for me when I began to finally have like a bit of comprehension of how women think and operate. I finally realized that women, when it comes to morality, they don't really concern themselves with that. This whole trust all women thing, believe women, that's something that an immoral person would say. Telling you to trust them without evidence. Guys, women are not virtuous in the sense that they want us to believe that they are virtuous, and they're not really worried about telling lies or dishonesty or stuff like that because they'll basically just convince themselves otherwise. Men and women are very, very different in the way that we think and in the way that we operate. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I've said this before, guys like Psychack cannot confront these topics. He talked about a relationship where he was in a relationship with a woman, and he would constantly tell her how her behaviors and actions in the relationship were affecting him. And it's like as soon as he told her these things, it would just go in one ear and go right out the other, and she would go right back to doing these things again. And one day he just flipped out on her, and it was like suddenly a switch went off in her head. And the poor guy just refuses to accept that. "No, little bro, she was just testing you to see how long it would take before you finally snapped." Okay? She wanted you to snap. And then he said that he ended the relationship because obviously it was a toxic relationship. That's how most women think. Most women will push our buttons and do things just to see how long and how much we can take it, how long we'll take it, or if they can continue doing this to us indefinitely. We're dealing with a very bad situation right now in Western society, and modern women, they are going to find themselves in extreme states of poverty and destitution because there's going to be a lot of homelessness, a lot of poverty that they're going to be headed towards. And men are not going to come to the rescue. Guys, in this inflation, with this crazy amounts of debt, all of this stuff, women today are not going to be able to handle what's coming. All right. And again, mentally, they're just going to say that it's the world. They'll blame God. They'll blame everyone before they take any accountability because they were not conditioned for it. They were not raised for it. And they will continue to. And of course, the Sims who are now, simp economy is moving overseas. The thing is, the Sims will continue to gaslight. Sims will continue to tell them that they're beautiful and special and all this other garbage, and that their value is within their sexuality and all this garbage. And they're going to double down. You're just going to continue seeing more and more women rushing to things like Only Fools and Lonely Fans and things that are really, really bad for society and really, really bad for women. And there's no stopping it. You know, it took time for me to realize a woman will destroy everything around her, even when she's been given everything that she wanted. You know, a good example is when a guy, I don't have the video clip. This guy paid his child support in full. Like, let's say he owed 6 months of, let's say he had 6 months of child support left. So for the year, so he just went and paid it all off. It's like, okay, well, like, you know, let's say he owed $15,000 in child support. So he paid off all $15,000 in child support at once. Poor guy, like, went into his bank account, maybe he had a savings. He's like, fine, I'm gonna pay it off. What does his ex-wife do, or the child's mother do? She calls like the marshals and whatever, and she says that how she hasn't received her child support money. She hasn't picked up, and that he's back on behind on child support. This is after he paid the whole damn thing off in one go. She has him picked up, arrested, put into prison. He ends up in prison, and he gets a felony for not paying child support. And no one in the court ever stopped to verify whether or not this man was actually behind on his child support. So now the woman, she's in court with him again, demanding child support money, and he's explaining he already paid it and he doesn't have a job anymore, so he can't make any future payments. And, you know, she's like, you know, this man is a terrible guy. He doesn't want to pay his child support. The judge finally gets a judge that looks everything over and says, wait a minute, this man paid everything in child support. What he did was he paid it all in advance. So who requested that he be arrested? Was it did the court do this? She goes, no, I'm the one who went and did this. I filed the paperwork saying that he had not paid me my child support. And so now the judge explains, ma'am, he paid you your child support in advance. He cleared the whole damn thing, like 6 months of child support. He paid it off in advance. He gave her your money in advance. And so what she did was she got like, let's say $15,000, and then she spent the entire damn thing. And somehow in her mind, she figured that this was just the first part of it. Like, she thought this was like, I don't know, back child support or something else. She spent all of it, and then she expected another check to come the following month. It's like, bro, don't tell me how this works. I don't understand how you can get like a check for like $15K and think that you're supposed to get another one in the following month. So now she's crying. Now she's like, well, why is it, you know, she's like, why did he, you know, he doesn't have a job anymore. He needs to go find a job. And the judge is like, lady, it's going to be hard for him. He's a felon now because of what you did, you know, and it's going to be very hard for him to find a job with that felony. Well, and the woman's like, well, just take the felony off his record. The judge goes, once that felony is on there, it's very hard to remove it. And the man starts crying and breaking down in tears, saying that I told you. All right. And she's just standing there. The woman's just standing there, and she doesn't know what to say because she just destroyed everything. This man gave her everything that she wanted. He paid her in advance, and she still ruined him. And she has no empathy for whatsoever. You see, that's the thing about women. There's something disconnected inside of them. They don't view us as human beings. They only view us as providers. They only want our attention, our time, and money. They do not view us as human. This is the reason why even into Western society now, they can't stand seeing us sleep. They begin to panic. They begin to freak out. They get very, very infuriated if a man is even sleeping. Why does that happen? It's because these people don't like us. These people absolutely do not like us. They've never really liked us. They've never really wanted us, nor have they desired us. They just want our toys. They want our money. They want our assets, but they don't actually want us. This is the mental state of most modern women today. Okay? And of course, the Sims are never going to stop. Most men today, they just want money and access to kitty. All right? And this is the reason why so many male relationships have fallen apart, because men are just so divided and so broken, and you can no longer trust the other man, because that's just it's messed up. That's why men no longer have many friends. Most men have no close friends. Most men don't talk to anyone anymore. And it's sad, but it's just how it is. Guys, that's the reason why you shouldn't be focused on relationships. You should be focusing on getting your money up. Don't forget to check out our academy, Angry's Crypto Academy, because we're facing, guys, hard times are coming, and we see what modern women are doing. But guys, I'm telling you, ATMs are going to stop working, banks are going to chain up those doors, and the only way that we're going to be able to protect our wealth and safeguard our future is going to be with crypto. So you can head over to Angry's Crypto Academy, and you're going to learn how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto. And we'll tell you exactly which coins will mint you millionaires, and how to spot potential coins to invest in. So don't miss out. You can actually check the academy out. It's linked in the description of the video. But men, you have to wake up and realize that we're in a horrible state of affairs right now. Women chose the bear, and now they don't want to basically pay. They don't want to pay face the consequences for the decisions and the choices that they've made. It's a horrible circumstance. It's an absolutely horrible circumstance, and it occurred because of the narcissism of modern women and the poor choices that they've made. And they continue to make these poor choices because no one checks them on it. And the society that we live in it's a matriarchal society. It absolutely is. We talked about this in another video, where you have a bill from this guy. It was in Mississippi, where basically men would be fined for like $5,000 the first time, $10,000 the second time, after every time that they cum, and it is not for the purpose to fertilize an egg. Jesus help us. This is what, guys, it's psychotic. All right. It's no wonder that so many men are now phobic of dating and relationships, phobic of having a relationship with a woman, phobic of going. Most men just don't even desire it anymore. They'd rather stay home, play video games, and relax. They'd rather, and if for those guys who have to have a relationship, they're going overseas. They'll go and find someone overseas, a woman who is fit, feminine, and friendly, and is not going to put them through the kinds of stresses that women in Western society are putting men through. It literally makes no sense today anymore as a man to get into a relationship with a modern woman, to talk to a modern woman, to even try to relate to them, because they're not trying to relate to you. They just want to take whatever you have. They just want to use you. And it's like, men are at the point where, like, you know what? We're done. We're done with the games. We're done with the nonsense. We're done with the foolishness. We're sick and tired of it, and we are done with it. And it's crazy because they're trying so hard to silence us. Even when you talk about the fact that men are just walking away and sick of how society treats them, they immediately start saying, look at all these men, blaming women. It's like, bro, what is wrong with you? It's corrupt. It's so corrupt. Their actions, their behavior is so corrupt. They want to silence you. Those who are trying to silence you are the people who are lying. And women have been fighting for decades to silence men. That's why we barely have a voice. And no one even listens to us in the first place. I made a post, a country without its men is not a country. And this was basically in response to a comment someone left on one of my videos, the Shannon. And he said, they do not understand. It will only be a few years and the consequences will be extreme. The economy will collapse. No one to grow food, build buildings, roads, plumbers, electrical workers, pick up garbage, pay taxes. It won't be just you with no children. Soon people will pay to see children like a zoo. Imagine if your own parents have been so selfish, you would not be here. It's a crazy situation right now, guys. It's absolutely insane. And what are they going to do? They're going to blame men. They're going. That's all. Their go-to. Men, you're to blame. And notice if we scroll down, there was a comment here. I guess the person removed it. Unfortunately, I should have saved her comment, because she basically was coming after men and blaming men, like, oh, look at all of these little boys, who are complaining about, who are complaining about women. And it's like it's just absolutely, it's sad. It's absolutely sad because their go-to naturally is to just immediately attack men. Immediately attack us and blame us. I don't know. I mean, all right, let's see here. This is actually the comment. This was from Freedom Jane, right? So let's read her comment. Look at all the angry guys blaming women. Of course, the corporate overlords who campaigned and lobbied for equal rights for women in the workplace so they could have twice the workers for half the pay were men in boardrooms. So basically, she's saying that, don't blame us, blame the corporations, and then also blame the men who brought us into the workforce. Do you see this? Do you see this? Don't blame us, blame the men who gave women the opportunity to work in the workforce. And like, guys, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. So she's blaming the corporations for hiring women, and the men, the boardroom, which were predominantly men who hired women. But wasn't that what feminism was all about? Second wave feminism, giving women equal opportunity in the workforce and in education. Now it's about equal representation, but it was about equal opportunity. So women were allowed to go in, get these jobs, have these jobs, and now she's complaining because men allowed women to go to work and earn an equal wage to men. Do you guys see how insane this is? This is why you can never win an argument with a woman. You absolutely can never win an argument with a woman. They will always 100% defeat you in every argument because this is how they think. Ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom. It's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
One point for worrying that men might think she's too arrogant. As such a perfect 100-point woman, she believes that during a blind date, she can completely take control of the conversation. On the other hand, men often give up on her too quickly. She believes that after men start working, most of them quickly gain weight, and that's another reason why most men are not worthy of her. Hearing this, the male mentor began to question Lulu's point of view. However, Lulu refused to listen to the mentor's advice, and instead believed that the mentor was simply full of nonsense.
那些专家、那些教授，真的是吃饱饭没有事情做吗？他不能做一些对人类更有益。
Let me just point out again that this is a 43-year-old woman. She is 43. So it's highly unlikely that she can have children anymore. And it's amazing that she's still able to even find men who are willing to go out on dates with her. And she believes that she deserves a wealthy man. And it's crazy because there are still some men willing to speak to her. And even then, she is attacking these men and saying that she's better than them and she deserves princess treatment. This is absolutely insanity. It's beyond insanity. Demanding a man who makes $1 million a year, and it's like, and even her job performance, she's like, oh, I went to one of the best universities and I have this great education, but her job performance is not very good. Her conversational skills are terrible. She has extraordinary narcissism, and she's still behaving this way. And when she's given feedback, she can't take it. That's why, guys, people like this will never change. This is how you find yourself hungry and homeless.
意义的事情吗？去那边评头论足，男生被整个社会宠坏。
After harshly scolding the male mentor, the show replaced him with a female mentor, hoping that the trust between women could help Lulu solve her problems. After some guidance from the female mentor, Lulu began her second round of blind dates. This time, the man she was meeting was someone Lulu found rare to admire.
I'll tell you something very interesting. What ends up happening with a lot of these female mentors, because men are actually more empathetic and men are more likely to try to accommodate women than women will accommodate other women. And what will end up happening a lot of these cases where you'll have a woman who starts working with another woman, and eventually she'll just say, yeah, I'm done with her. I'm not going to work with her anymore. That's what's happening in China right now, where a lot of these dating coaches, a lot of these people who connect people from one person to another person, matchmakers, the female matchmakers, they are refusing to work with women. They're refusing to work with a lot of women right now, specifically older women, and they won't even, and like they're not even allowing these women to even go to single events anymore, like, because most men are not showing up to these events, and they're not even allowing these women to show up to to go to the events anymore, because they're like, these women are not going to do well there, and they're just going to end up frustrated. We're going to end up frustrated. So they're now banning women in like their 30s and 40s from going, like mid 30s and 40s, from going to these single events. That's how bad it is right now. So it's like they think, oh, I'm going to give them a woman to work with. Guys, think about this carefully. Men tolerate so much crap in relationships with women. Men are constantly dealing with all of this stuff. The average woman is not going to tolerate this nonsense. That guys, GAYs, so GAY men have the lowest divorce rate in the United States. Their divorce rate is only something like 30%. So basically, like 7 out of every 10 GAY marriages will succeed. While for men and women, it's 50-50. And then for GAY women, they actually have a 70% divorce rate. This is insane. So 7 out of every 10 marriages between GAY women will end in divorce. While it's only 3 out of 10 only 3 out of 10 for men and men, and half, so 5 out of 10 for men and women. This just illustrates that where the real problem in the relationship is. There's one common denominator, and it's not the men. When men are left to their own devices, they do great together. It's the truth.
He had studied abroad and is now a senior executive in a foreign enterprise. Lulu believes that men who have experienced foreign cultures will have common ground with her. But to her surprise, as soon as they met, Lulu started complaining about his appearance. Despite his strong financial standing, his looks didn't match up to hers. During the entire blind date, Lulu wore a look of disdain toward the man. Reluctantly, this blind date had to be ended early. However, after another failed blind date, Lulu did not reflect on her own issues. Instead, she blamed the female mentor's suggestions and arrangements.
我可能未必会完全认可每一个导师的所有的意见。
I'm telling you, I told you right off the bat, it's not gonna get a lot of these female mentors, a lot of the women, they're not gonna take it, they're not gonna tolerate it. They're gonna put these women out very, very quickly. They're gonna say, oh, really? This is how you are? Okay, sweetie, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Now let me be very clear with you. When I look upon this individual, I don't personally find them to be extremely attractive. I don't think this person looks like an 18-year-old. I think this person looks like an adult that is very almost naive and narcissistic in the face. You can basically see narcissism, you can see mental illness, and you can see just downright a disrespectful nature. This is not someone that anyone should jump into a relationship with. And the fact that society keeps on putting these people out there and telling them that they have options is terrible. Someone needs to basically tell them, listen, no one wants to be in a relationship with you. You're pushing 45 years old. It's likely impossible for you to have children at this point. And, what do you have to offer? You have nothing to offer. You're demanding a man has crazy amounts of money, will pay you a nice big bride price, and will, makes $1 million a year, and you deserve all of this. Like, again, it's amazing to me that she's even able to find anyone, but this is I guess like a show or something. So that's the reason why they're able to find these men, but no man in their right mind is going to get into a relationship with someone like this. Can't have children, terrible personality, extremely mean-spirited, looks at a man and tells them that, I'm better than you. Holy cow. Constantly criticizing appearances. It's like, guys, it's impossible. It's impossible. The only thing that would make her happy is Chad and Tyrone. And Chad and Tyrone are not marriageable men. At the same time, Chad and Tyrone, they don't want to be Chad and Tyrone. These are the creme de la creme. They can have all of the young women that they want, so they're not going to go for this. Oh my gosh. One of the things that bothers me is it's clear that a lot of men have their standards way too low and they're willing to put up with way too much.
如果我推翻了自己之前的前半生的东西，我会觉得有点悲伤的。我就是我啊。
Lulu's true behavior reveals the struggles and mindset of many leftover women in the marriage market, especially for high-educated, high-appearance women like her. Despite seemingly having all the advantages for choosing a partner, she repeatedly hits roadblocks in the blind date process. Her sense of superiority and expectations for the love she deserves often lead her to become overly picky, causing her to miss out on the ideal partner. However, the essence of the problem is that she places herself too high, getting lost between confidence and arrogance. She longs to be understood and cherished, yet often neglects the art of communication and compromise. Does this reflect how modern women, in their pursuit of career and personal value, overlook the fundamental equality and interaction in marriage?
One of the things that men are being told now is this is the reasons why you should not focus on marrying a beautiful woman. But most of these women today are not extremely beautiful, okay? Like, a lot of them are barely average, but because of the way society is, they're all told that they're 10s. I'm a 10, you're a 10, she's a 10. We're all 10s. We're all 10s. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So it's like, who are you? At this point, guys, it doesn't have anything to do with the woman's appearance. It has everything to do with her how you should be looking at someone's character, not at how they look, because the most beautiful, how do I put this? The most hideous looking individual can have the worst of characters, but believe that they are a 10. And the most beautiful of people can have the greatest characters while believing that they're a 5 or a 6 because they have humility, So you can't, it's crazy, but you can no longer look at a person, look at looks and say, okay, you have to look at merit, because we live in a society today where so many, especially bro, you look at some of these individuals, you're like, bro, you're a 4 or 5. And they're like, I'm an 11. I'm perfection. God put me here because he put me here to be worshiped and served. Like, these people think that they are above God. Like if you look at how God thinks and how God treats us, and then you look at how women operate, they believe that they are gods. God, guys, God gave Eve everything, and even then she wasn't happy. Think about that carefully. God gave her everything, and she still wasn't happy. So if God cannot give, you know, if there's no amount that God can give to a woman to make them happy, there's nothing we can do as men. The change cannot start within men. There's nothing left. Men have done everything. Men have given too much. Men have to work on themselves and get their masculinity back. All right, and get right with God. Women, on the other hand, that's something that they have to deal with on their own. And the only way that we're going to see any real change when it comes to women is for them to experience hardships and for them to experience more of a decline. And really, it's not going to affect women in this generation, like in sense that they're going to face extraordinary hardships, extraordinary suffering, but that's not going to change them. It may change their tactics, but that won't change them as people. It has to be a cultural shift, and that's something that won't happen for many, many decades, more than likely. Probably not within our lifetime, because honestly, I expect it to actually get worse in our lifetime as their narcissism only gets worse and worse and worse, and they begin lashing out even more, me tooing like her, even more, claiming victimization even more, even as things go downhill further. And men rush away. Men basically are in hiding, and it's only going to get worse because that's all they know, and they're just going to double down, triple it, multiply it by five, and keep it going. It's not going to stop. It will never stop in our lifetime. The way that they are will never stop. It'll only get worse. Think about this. You have Gen Alpha. They're exactly like that. You have Gen Z. They're exactly like that. All right. Then there's the younger millennials. Then there's the Gen X women. All right. It's never going to go away in our lifetime. All right. Gen Beta will not be the generation where we will see significant change necessarily. Could there be some changes, some differences? Yes, but it won't be significant enough because they're still being raised in this narcissistic environment. Trump cannot fix this. The only thing that can really make any difference is for men, at least, is for us to walk away and leave Western society behind. Like, America is broken. It's absolutely broken. If we stay in the United States or in Western societies like the US, UK, Canada, we basically just have to stay to ourselves, stay inside, and like I said, that's one of the best things you can do is learning how to do some day trading when it comes to crypto. Learning how to day trade crypto is very, very, very is a great thing you guys can do for yourself. Because you can take a small amount of money and you can turn that into $100 a day, $200 a day. It's a very, very important skill to have. Very, very important skill to have. And many of you guys really should be doing that. Really should be investing in yourself. You really should be doing that. Go and learn the skill. We teach you how to do that over in Angry's Crypto Academy. And you can find a link to that in the description of the video. But I mean, it's important, guys. It's so important. Because like if you decide to stay in these societies, you're basically going to have to just stay inside and hide inside. Some of you are like, I don't care. I'm going out there anyway. And if women, blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. Okay, little bro. You want to go and stress yourself out? I'm not stressed. I'm going to fight. Okay, dude, go fight. Go be stupid. Go be stupid. Because a lot of men haven't learned their lessons yet. And they feel like they're still big and they're still tough. They haven't been humbled yet. They have not really experienced life yet. How stressful life is, how painful life is. All right. This is the reason why Gen Xers want to be left the hell alone. Leave them alone under their rock. People don't understand they don't understand how dark life really is. Life is dark. Life is really, really dark. It's absolutely sick how bad things truly are. And the average man is going to end up looking like the average Gen Xer. Just look at that. Look at that. This is Gen X. All right. This is Gen X. There's a rock on the top, and there they are living under their rock. And this is how it's going to be. A lot of men are going to end up like this, just living under their rock. Okay. Where you walk by, you see absolutely nothing, and they are underground. They're under their rock, and no one can find them. No one sees them. Like one of the best things I've done, one of the best decisions I made was starting my Nintendo Switch collection of physical games. I started much later than everyone else, but like I'm up to like I think about 50 or maybe over 50 games now. And I just started collecting them back in November, right around Black Friday. I was like, okay, I need to have physical media. And I started collecting my Nintendo Switch games. And here's something interesting about Nintendo Switch games versus PlayStation 5. This is something I did not know. So PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, these games the DVDs can survive for about 20 to 30 years, right? So DVDs can actually survive about 20 to 30 years. However, PlayStation 5 games and just Blu-rays in general, they only have a life of about 5 to 10 years. So even if you keep your PlayStation 5 games and your Blu-ray discs, Blu-ray movies in perfect in pristine condition, they will only last 5 even if you don't open them, you keep them sealed and everything, they will only last around 5 to 10 years. So a lot of, and this is something that Sony did not tell people. The reason why is because of the way that the discs are developed. They're extremely dense. So they're much more dense than Blu-ray disc were. They're not as sturdy. And as a result, they begin to degrade faster. There's nothing we can do about this. So a lot of people who have these large PlayStation 5, collections, that they've purchased just over the last 5 years, and so those games are done. They're done. Like come 2030, a lot of people, like this is like in 5 years, a lot of people, their collections of games from physical games from PlayStation are cooked, absolutely cooked. So, but with Nintendo Switch, the cartridges that we purchased for Nintendo Switch, they actually have an estimated life of roughly about 20 to 30 years, and I strongly suspect that it's even longer than that, because if you look at Nintendo cartridges from 40 years ago, 40 years ago from the NES days, these cartridges are still working, right? So that tells us that my games that I've collected for Nintendo Switch and my collection that's growing, this is something that I'll be able to continue enjoying, possibly potentially for the rest of my life, you know. And these are great games. I have Mario Kart. What else do I have? I have Mario Kart. I think I have Mario's Odyssey. I have all of these incredible different titles, I have Zelda, I have Breath of the Wild, I have Tears of the Kingdom. This is just some of the games in my collection. I have games from the Fire Emblem series, Engage, Three Houses, and another one. I mean, I'm doing pretty good with it. But what I learned is that we all have to maintain physical media. We all need to have something that cannot just be taken away from us. Many of you are like screaming cash is king. It's really not. You stop screaming cash is king like Christ is king. Can everything collapse? Can the value of cash can completely deteriorate. And even though you physically have the cash, it doesn't make any difference. And where are you going to keep all of your cash? In the bank or under your mattress? Get out of here. You have to diversify, which is why I'm just like so ecstatic that I have my reserve of crypto. Like I have my crypto reserves, and I keep cash on hand, so I have a decent amount of cash at home. And then I also have cash. Most of my assets are locked away in crypto. I'm just going to be real about that. I have money in the bank. I have enough money in the bank to get by, but I keep most of my assets locked away in crypto, which is what a lot of people are doing now. And you can put a lot of your assets in things like stable coin, like USDT, so Tether, Bitcoin, and other assets. And I watch my money grow over time. But I'm not playing games with this disgusting and evil system that we have right now, because you can't trust this. You 100% cannot trust modern society. You know that we're heading for a major collapse, and the banks are going to chain up the doors. The ATMs are going to stop working. Those 401ks are not going to be accessible. And a lot of you are going to be crying and hollering and screaming. As soon as you guys miss a meal, as soon as you boys miss a meal, a lot of you are going to be on YouTube crying and saying, angry, I don't know what to do, and looking to me for comfort. I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh at y'all, especially some of y'all who are criticizing crypto and talking craps and saying that it is a scam. And I'm like, bro, I just use crypto to buy. I've got plenty of food. I've been using my crypto to buy all kinds of food and da 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 da, and I'm good. And I've got my supply. And if anything, I could just leave the country and go overseas, and I've got money on hand because I've got crypto. Wherever I go, I have money. But you, on the other hand, little bro, you have a couple you have some gold and silver, and how are you gonna spend it? You can't do anything with it, little bro. All right, because you was like, oh well, if the power goes out, but the power didn't go out, power's still on, but you can't access any money from the ATMs. You can't get any money out. You can't get any money out of the bank. You're screwed, little bro. You're screwed. All right, you're screwed, little bro. And I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna talk a lot of jazz to you. I'm gonna tell you, like, after like the first 96 hours, it's like, you start to begin to like just see things, because that hunger starts to kick in. Don't forget, like, I went through a hardship like 10 years ago, and like it was bad. Over 10 years ago, it's really bad. I suffered through a lot of things, and it's like, you're gonna meet that fate, bro. But you brought it onto yourself, and I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna take it in as you angry. You're a wicked guy. You're not a good person. You don't care about men. No, I'm here giving you this knowledge for free. You didn't want to listen, and now you're gonna have to feel. And you were like a troll to me, so I'm gonna enjoy watching your decline, bro. Let me, like, send me regular updates so I can hear just how horrible things are going for you, and I can let you know that you just may not make it, because those streets are rough, man. Those streets are really, really rough. And you just got to keep your head up. Got to keep your head up.
Perfect standard really guarantee a long-lasting relationship? Lulu's story is not an isolated case. Many women, in their pursuit of perfection, struggle in the marriage market, trapped in a self-imposed limit. Has our expectation of marriage shifted from seeking a soulmate to seeking a suitable item? What lies behind these high demands? Is it self-confidence or an escape from reality? So, what are your thoughts on high-quality, leftover women like Lulu?
这小姐姐说：“哎，你凭什么让我降低我的择偶标准？”
I really can't believe it. This afternoon, I had another argument with a young lady.
Guys, if you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government-controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen.
Why should I lower my standards for choosing a partner? If I could settle, I might as well stay single for life. Young lady, now I'm going to tell you something. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. Honestly, ordinary women are not worthy of remaining unmarried. Look at those so-called celebrities, those wealthy women. They don't get married, and they live just fine. Don't think you're anything special. I want to ask you, if you can't even handle a man, can't manage a romantic relationship, and didn't get married, do you think you'll be able to dominate in business and succeed in your career? I'd bet that people who can't get married probably don't achieve great success in their careers either. How much money do you have? Tell me. The reason you feel happy and comfortable being single right now is because you're young, healthy, have lots of friends, and especially, you still have your parents. Remember, it's your parents who gave you this family. They brought you into this world because they got married. You see, if they hadn't married, would you even exist? Without their marriage, would you have a family? Look at your parents now, they're getting older, and eventually, they'll leave you.
Do you see how angry? Did I not call it, guys? I told you that these dating coaches, these female dating coaches, these female matchmakers are flipping out on these women. I didn't watch. I haven't watched this video already. I did not see any of this video yet, and I knew instantly this was going to happen. Okay, because while men are constantly forced to suppress their anger and constantly cater to women, modern women, when women are faced with other women and the delusion of another woman, they freak out. They can't handle it. All right. No woman on earth can tolerate the nonsense from another woman the way a man can, because it drives us to a place of phobia, of PTSD. We are pushed down, and we are basically forced to take all of the narcissism, all of it. And women cannot handle it the way men can. Women freak the hell out. Oh gosh.
Right now, you think you're young, you think you have time, and you think everything is okay. But honestly, as you age, you'll eventually face what they have. Your parents will pass away before you, and then what will you do? Will you face it alone, with no one around? Is this the life you want to live forever? I also can't understand those who choose a marriage without children. Why is it that in most cases, the family where they choose not to have kids ends up with the man refusing the idea and only the woman insisting on no children? Why is that? Because when men get old, especially when they have money, they can still find young women to have children with. But those women who chose not to have children, what will happen when they grow old and regret it? What's the point of having money? As you age, your eggs run out, and regret doesn't help. You'll never have your own children. What will your money give you in the end? This is like the saying eating the last of the food and not having a family. Those who encourage women to be independent, advise them not to have children, and not to be a caretaker for men, have you thought about reality? I know you probably won't listen to me, but I can't help but remind you that this is for your own good. I don't want to see you grow old and be ignored, becoming a lonely elderly.
What we are really witnessing here is the fall of woman.
With no one to rely on. Don't you think those who advise you not to get married are actually leading you to a lonely end? They might have grandchildren and enjoy their old age with their husbands, but what about you? When you're 70 or 80, no one will care about you, no one will take care of you. Do you think you'll be happy? Look at those who advise you not to get married or have children. When you're old and sick, lying in bed, can you rely on them to take care of you? Will they provide for you in your old age? That's what you should be thinking about now. Who truly has your best interests at heart, and who is simply leading you down a lonely path? I hope you can see through this before it's too late. Do you understand what I mean?
我认识一小姐妹，年龄不小了，比我还大2岁，90年的。
Now, you know what's really interesting? This is what I'm talking about. This woman who is talking to these women, it will go in one ear and come out the other. She cannot reach them. This is when I finally started to understand women. Guys, I remember Jordan Peterson was talking nonsense like, we need to send, as men, there's nothing more we can do. We need to send the women in who are more reasonable to deal with, their crazy sisters. Would you send your wife to deal with the psychopaths who are attacking you, Jordan? No, because they're criminals. These people are psychos. Do you know the kinds of people you actually have to send to deal with them? You have to send the biggest, strongest, baddest men that you can find to deal with these types of people, because they are so far gone that only someone who is intimidating can stand up to them. The common man, the common woman cannot stand up to the average woman. If there is any woman who is looking at things at least from a point of reason, based on facts and not feelings, she will be completely ignored by modern women. Because if what you're saying does not align with what they want, they will always listen to their feelings over fact. And they replace facts with feelings, and any facts that they choose to adhere to are going to be centered entirely based around their feelings. So they choose the facts that they feel the best about, or they make up entirely other facts and go with that. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it is reality. And many of them are going to end up alone and single. And, older women who've told them, oh, you can be independent and I have this wonderful life. Many of those women already have their children. They already have their grandchildren. Okay. And if they're alone and single, a lot of these people, they may pretend like that they're living these wonderful lives. But the reality is a lot of them are living in poverty or near poverty. And they're lonely, they're miserable, and they're just putting on a front. That's the honest to goodness truth.
Interesting bestie, who is a little older than me, born in 1990. She often posts on Weibo about how noble she is, claiming that men don't deserve me. But you know what? At the same time, she paid a membership fee of 30,000 yuan to join a high-end matchmaking group in Changzhou. She always declares, "What's the point of marriage? Only ordinary people get married. I'm looking for true love." In fact, she is quite a catch, standing at 1.7 meters tall, with a good figure and decent looks. However, there's one very interesting thing about her: she has a short marriage with no children. She didn't go into detail about the reason for her divorce, but it seems to be related to some principled issues, and in the end, she chose to divorce. Her requirements for relationships are extremely high. She's basically a beauty standards fanatic. She won't settle for any guy who doesn't meet her standard of looks because she considers herself beautiful. Plus, she still has a mortgage. Her ex-husband was fairly well off. Although his family wasn't as rich as a second-generation tycoon's, they were comfortable. He was 1.8 meters tall, and she thought, I must find someone better than my ex-husband. How could I settle for someone worse? She requires that any potential partner earn at least 200,000 yuan a year in Changzhou and have at least 2 fully paid-off houses, because her ex-husband's family had 2 fully paid-off houses. When I first met this bestie, I was struck by her beauty. She really is stunning. However, here's the problem: she's 35 years old. She has dated many men, including handsome ones and rich ones, but when a guy who could potentially surpass her ex-husband and is willing to marry her shows up, things start to fall apart. First, many men find her age a turnoff, and secondly, some are put off by her short marriage and lack of children. In comparison, her ex-husband has remarried and already had a child. But she still thinks, I'm so beautiful and own property, what's wrong with me? How could I not find a better man than my ex-husband? She keeps holding on to this belief, but one by one, the men leave her. Later, I learned that she sought help from a matchmaker friend, and she even paid a matchmaking fee. It's clear that while she outwardly appears arrogant, deep down, she's anxious. I want to remind many women, especially those who are unmarried, that age really matters, especially for those who want to get married. Time does not wait for anyone.
I want you guys to understand how she paid 30,000 yuan to a matchmaker. 30,000 yuan, Chinese yuan, is equivalent to $4,137. So she's paid a matchmaker over $4,000 in China to find someone for her. And the matchmaker cannot find anyone for her because everyone that the matchmaker suggests, she rejects. And she's 35 years old, and she believes that she's so beautiful, so she's so perfect that, she can keep on doing this. Here's the thing. These individuals are not beautiful. All right? You know what the cosmetic industry basically said, going back like 100 years, almost 100 years ago? They basically said that there is no such thing as an ugly woman, just a woman who doesn't know how to apply makeup. So most of these women, if you take the makeup off, if you take the fake up off, are you that beautiful? Is she really beautiful? If a woman is not beautiful without makeup, she is not beautiful. Okay? It is the truth. If you are not beautiful without your makeup, then you are not beautiful. And no one wants to confront this factor. This is why a lot of guys say, take them swimming on the first date, but you have to be careful because they have makeup. They have waterproof makeup. And they're well aware of that. I don't know, guys. Things have just gone from bad to worse, and it's not getting any better. By the way, shout out to the 1 hour gang. Shout out to the 1 hour gang. Yes, guys, we made it to that 1 hour point. Shout out to the 1 hour gang. Shout out to the 1 hour gang.
You're around 25. That's when you're at the peak of your beauty. If you can't find a satisfactory man then, do you really expect to find a man who's superior in every way after 30, especially after 35? You're dreaming.
25 is not peak of beauty. 18, 19 is peak. Let's be real. 18, 19 is peak. If a woman takes care of herself, if she takes care of herself physically, then 18, 19 is peak. All right? 25, no. We have those Leonardo DiCaprio. He made it very, very clear. He set the bar. 25 is getting into older territory. You should already have a husband by 25. You'd have already had your first, second, maybe even your third kid by 25. All right? You should already be a lady of the house by 25. 25? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
Already decided not to get married, then it doesn't matter. But for those of you who want to marry, please stop delaying. Just like this bestie, if she had been proactive about dating right after her divorce and lowered her standards, I believe she would have found someone suitable. But the problem is, now she's already 35. At your age, you still want a man who is 1.8 meters tall, good-looking, has 2 fully paid-off houses, and earns at least 200,000 yuan a year? Sorry, if I were that man, why wouldn't I go for a younger, more beautiful woman? Why would I choose a divorced woman like you?
Now keep in mind, in China, men tend to be a little bit shorter than men in the United States and Western countries, other Western countries. Now, here's the thing: 5 feet, 1.8 meters actually converts to 5'10". So that's just an inch. That's just an inch shy of 6 feet. So these women are basically, demanding that men be roughly about 6 feet. They are demanding that men be 6 feet. I mean, all right, 2 inches more, you're 6 feet. This is who in their right mind is going to deal with this garbage. No one in their right mind. No one in their right mind is going to deal with this garbage. Most men are sick and tired of it. They're like, we're done and we are out. So they are realistically demanding men. They're demanding the 666. Has to be at least 6 feet tall. Has to make above 6 figures. All right. Has to have a 6-pack. Has to be able to deliver 6 inches. This is insane. No man on earth should be trying to make a woman happy. It was historically a woman's job to make a man happy, and that's how she created value within a relationship. What these modern women are doing is absolutely wrong.
They're drinking toxic chicken soup online, while still hoping that excellent men will fall in love with her. You're dreaming. Those outstanding men aren't stupid.
Have you noticed that there is a common characteristic among older single women? They are often very beautiful and outstanding. In the past, the differences between men and women were mainly in physical aspects like appearance, height, and body shape. Other differences were not that significant. But now, in addition to appearance and height, the differences in family background and social status between different individuals are becoming more and more obvious. Especially for some women who are beautiful and outstanding. They often have higher education and a good family background. This makes them more cautious when choosing a partner. They tend to find themselves in a state of indecision when choosing a boyfriend. They might think that the next guy they meet could be better than the one they're with. This hesitation and expectation for the future often make them more indecisive in relationships. For example, when they encounter small problems or conflicts in their relationships, they might start to wonder whether the next guy would be more suitable. When they come across a little disagreement or notice some minor flaws in their partner, they might think the next guy will be better. As a result, they find it hard to continue the relationship.
Guys, modern women chose this for themselves, and they're going to have to deal with the consequences and the fallouts of their decisions. Most men now have a phobia of women, and women are to blame for this. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.
Nothing nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.